Selfridge Air National Guard Base. This is the Frank Beckman Show on News Talk 760 WJR. This morning's broadcast is presented by the Eisenhower Center. Frank is live from the home of the 2017 LPGA Valor Cup Pro-Am. Now, here's Frank Beckman.
Welcome into a brand new week of the Frank Beckman Show, everybody. Nice to have you with us in this spot where we always keep you, as you know, the best informed audience in all of radio. And you are listening to the luckiest radio host in America. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you how much I value the job and opportunities that I get. There are so many special ones that we have. Jeff Marcero, our account executive, sets up different remote broadcasts for us, and we'll be at Mackinac another week and then head out on our golf tour all over Michigan. Later on this week, we'll be in Ann Arbor at Travis Point for the Pro-Am, the Volvic Pro-Am involving the LPGA players. And, let's be honest, when the LPGA players take part in Pro-Ams, it's kind of a pain for them, okay? Because they got to play with hackers like me and John Cornack from the Eisenhower Center. No offense, John.
Total hacker.
But anyway, no. But it's they put a smile on. They know it's part of the game. They've got to promote their sport, and they do it very gladly. But the ladies from the LPGA's Volvic Classic have done something else this year. Not only are they playing on Wednesday, they've agreed to come over, a whole bunch of them, and play today in a brand new event called the Valor Cup, along with female veterans here at Selfridge Air National Guard Base Golf Course. Yes, they have a golf course right on the team Selfridge property here. And you've had to beat them away and tell them, no, you can't come, because so many love this idea that they want to come over even though there may not be room for them to play. John Cornack's here from the Eisenhower Center. Great to see you, my friend.
Oh, great to see you, too. Yeah, we're really fortunate that they want to come. Because really, you're right. We don't want to, they go out and they play with us and they smile and they say, oh, really nice shot, and knowing that it's just a mediocre shot at best. But today they'll be here with passion. And I think that's really what they're looking for is, look, I'm going to go golf, and I'm going to golf for a specific purpose, female veterans. And it's just an amazing thing that they want to be here. They're coming here in a bus, and they'll do a tour, and they'll see Selfridge. And Selfridge is one of those things we want to recover, too. We want to rebuild it. It's their 100th anniversary.
Right.
So it's a great way to start this. And so we're really fortunate to be here.
And just think about that. They're piling into a bus. These pro golfers are piling into a bus this morning and coming over from Ann Arbor to Selfridge to play golf with the veterans. I mean, come on. Where are the limos? These are not spoiled women. These are women with commitment in their hearts who want to do something for female veterans. And I think it's absolutely terrific. The gentleman sitting next to you is also committed to what you're doing and what our veterans go through, and that's Dave Woodruff, the brother of Bob Woodruff. And the Woodruffs are from our area, and Bob suffered the severe head injuries in Iraq about 11 years ago now, right, David?
Yep.
Yeah. 2006, when he was covering the U.S. war effort, and his unit was hit by an IED, and Bob suffered horrible injuries. How's he doing, by the way?
He's doing incredibly well. I mean, he's right now, just flew back from here last weekend to Beijing, because he's operating as essentially ABC's Far East correspondent. And he's doing really well. I think probably the only thing, and John and I have talked about this before, he's now showing his age in his brain. Not only he had a brain injury, but now he's suffering like the rest of us.
So you set up the Bob Woodruff Foundation, and you've been closely involved in running that. Tell me what you've done and how you've teamed up with the Eisenhower Center.
Well, we, it's hard to believe we were talking about this too 11 years ago. It's been 11 years since Bob's injury, and right out of the box after he recovered, and we had seen what had gone on in with veterans in Bethesda Naval Hospital and Launchstool Air Base, or Launchstool Medical Center, we thought we could do something. And Bob's celebrity obviously was something that could help do that. So we just started out thinking, now let's raise a few bucks and help some people. We saw, things going on where people didn't have the family support that we were able to give Bob. They didn't have the resources that ABC was able to bring to him. So we thought we'd try to raise money. And then fast forward to now, we've raised over $40 million to help veterans. We just gave another cycle of grants, $3.3 million to 35 programs around the country to help. And obviously it started out as a TBI focus, but we've expanded our focus. But TBI and the
traumatic brain injury,
traumatic brain injury is an issue that is still very central to what we want to do. And we know that it's not only an issue for military, it's also an issue for the general population. And we've started talking to Eisenhower Center. John's work is incredible. And I'm also trying to do more here in Michigan because we're from here. And so we're looking at programs. We've done a little bit of work with U of M, and we certainly have teamed up with John. But to me, this type of event happening in Michigan, I'm just thrilled to see it.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Yeah. It's really terrific. Stay where you are. I got to take a quick break. We'll come back. Dave Woodruff is here. John Cornack from the Eisenhower Center as well. A lot more on the Frank Beckman Show coming up.
The Frank Beckman Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
Kicking it off this morning from out here at Selfridge, where the women from the LPGA Tour will be playing with female veterans and others today in the first ever Valor Cup Pro-Am. And the women are bussing their way over. The tour players are bussing over from Ann Arbor to Selfridge to take part in this. And it's just another way we have seen the commitment to our military from so many different people in our country. So many so that they had volunteers who were even scheduled to come here said, no, this is a cool thing. I want to be there. And so we're going to have an overflow group of LPGA players out here. John Cornack, who runs the Eisenhower Center, is with us. We know because we visited when they opened their new facility down in Jacksonville. Selfridge is a big part of what you're doing, too, though, isn't it, John?
Yeah, Selfridge is, the veterans. We've been wanting to help veterans more. We do a great deal already, but we want to really do a transitional program. We want to catch them before they get into trouble. We want to catch them before the families get into trouble. We want to really make sure that nucleus is there. So we'd really like to have the recovery happen here in a comfortable area, in a house, so the family can live together, go through recovery together, and get really good jobs. What we're looking for are a lot of partners that really want to work with us, like the major auto industry and things of that sort. The IBEW wants to work with us. That's the electrical workers and things like that. But we want real jobs for these folks when they leave the Selfridge, that they're really vested in their future and the path to their future is made, so they don't have to run into the troubles that we're seeing out there and we're hearing in vets courts and some other places.
So what's happening with them? What sorts of trouble are they running into?
Well, when you have a traumatic brain injury with frontal lobe damage, many times if you get caught up in the substance prevention or you get pain management, you self-medicate, your behaviors change. The kids that you used to love to hug, they're another year older and you come home and they're screaming a little bit more. And it's hard to control your thoughts. It's hard to keep consistent and build your life forward. You still have to go out and get a job. You still have to maintain that job. You still have to, these are really difficult tasks when you have concussions or brain injuries. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we get them through that emotional status. And we want them to be as clear-headed as they can when they really get back out into the community with their families.
Are you seeing that through the Woodruff Foundation too, Dave, that there has to be some understanding, but there also has to be this treatment because you can't have people who are going to lose it once you find them a job, right?
Well, absolutely. I think the thing we saw when 11 years ago, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were just really at their height. So you were seeing this tremendous number of guys coming back and women coming back with these injuries. We didn't even know a whole lot about closed head injuries. We saw the kind of thing that Bob had, and the behaviors that are now playing out from those injuries are never going to go away. That need is going to be there. So, things that John's trying to do, I think that, the VA has done a better job. They still have a long way to go, certainly under Secretary Shulkin. Now he's in place. He's really trying to turn things up after Bob McDonnell left. But I think that, there's tremendous need for programs like John's at Eisenhower Center and others to figure out how to get these folks stable enough to go out into the workplace or back home. And what we've tried to do is play along with that process by then working in the local communities to find jobs and retrain and do the other things that these guys need, because they do have challenges, with brain injuries that just makes it harder.
Mm-hmm. And what is the reaction of the employers? What are you finding?
It's getting better and better all the time.
They want to hire the veterans,
absolutely,
right?
They do. But I think, and John, we talked about this not long ago. They say that. They want to do it. sometimes they're not as well informed on what the issues these people have.
Well, they got to protect themselves too. I mean, they got a business to run.
Absolutely.
It's more than just being warm and fuzzy.
Oh, completely. And I think obviously, if they can't hire veterans, or they can hire veterans, they can also. There's a lot of other things for corporations to do to help this process. Obviously, writing a check is an easy thing to do, but there's other programs they can get involved with, that retraining programs for just to help the community itself. And if you can hire some vets, great. General Motors does a great job of it. They've had a big program for a long time. We've worked with them. And I think that, what we have to do too, and I think this is really important, and these types of programs like this will keep doing that, keep a focus on it, because the wars are, not what they used to be, but they're there. And Marty Dempsey, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, just joined our board, and he has said over and over again, we're looking at 20 more years of this, at least. And that's just going to keep generating more and more of these cases.
And that means more of those 30-day stays at the Eisenhower Center to get through it, right, John?
Well, it does mean that. And we put the model together. We saw what the media was saying about the VA and we can all talk about it, but you got to step in. You got to take a movement forward. And so Eisenhower put the model together because we were already doing behavioral health. So this is our field. We're comfortable in it. So when the war started, you're right, the VA was discharging people after a normal stay, normal care, and then they were getting into trouble. So we started taking veterans in then. And that's when the model started being built. It was 14 years ago.
Is it working?
It's working, and the outcomes are fantastic. And then now we have the after the impact, and that's when you were down in Florida,
right? And
you saw what can happen there. So that our newest, working with two entirely different arenas.
Right, football players. And you were telling me jockeys.
Jockeys. We got jockeys now. We got how that happened.
Which you can understand.
Yeah.
Well,
next he's going to be buying 3-year-old racehorses.
Well, but you can understand. A jockey, they're falling off the horse, they're getting kicked by the horse, there'll be stable hands. There's a lot of, this is a very dangerous sport, and so we're very fortunate that we'll be able to help that group as well.
And I think, Frank, John and I have talked about this before. I think what we need to focus on is the success stories. I think the survivors, because another big problem with TBI in the military and outside the military is the issue of suicide, and that is something that's not getting better. But I think that in John's, anytime we can save a life versus losing a life and talk about the saving of a life, that's really why we're all doing this. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're doing it.
Dave, thank you, John Cornack. Buy one Triple Crown winner and think of the money. Think of the money you could bring into the Eisenhower Center that way. Yeah, and I think you'd look good in one of those hats down with a mint julep in your hand.
Oh boy!
Hey, yeah, that's scary thought.
Scary thought.
John Cornack from the Eisenhower Center, Dave Woodruff from the Bob Woodruff Foundation. Thanks, fellas, for all you do.
Thanks.